The Team Never Quit podcast is sponsored by Navy Federal Credit Union. With the More Rewards credit cards from Navy Federal Credit Union, you can earn 3 times the points at supermarkets, food delivery, and gas, plus 1 point on everything else. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Hey there, Team Never Quit Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the Team Never Quit podcast. My name is Andrew, joined today by the amazing Melanie Luttrell. And we actually recorded this interview a few weeks back. So Melanie, why don't you tell them a little bit about who we've got on today?
Hey, so today we have a group of Gold Star widows. Some of them are from Operation Red Wing. Some are from extortion. But all of these ladies, the common thread is they all lost their husbands. All of them were Navy SEALs. And the bond that these women have is just incredible. And I've been able to have a little glimpse of their bond over the last 10 years. And they're incredible. I love these girls.
Yeah, and it's a super amazing episode. Their stories are just so impactful. And it was a very emotional day. And I'm so glad that I got to be there for that. So before we jump in today's interview, though, got a Patreon question of the day like we always do. And it comes from Tina. And Melanie, you might be able to answer this one. She says, suggestions to binge watch on Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I am addicted to the show Yellowstone. I think it's on Paramount, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's got Kevin Costner. It's so good. So I'm a Criminal Minds junkie and a Law and Order SVU. I always think I'm some sort of investigator. So always those. There's some great documentaries out. I haven't seen Tiger King, but everybody is talking about it.
Yeah.
What else? Andrew, you're a binge watcher. What do you think?
I've been binging a lot lately. Tiger King was weird. If you've not watched it, don't watch it with your kids. It's pretty dark. It was weird. It was real weird. Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime was really good, actually.
Oh, I think Marcus likes that one. Oh my gosh. So Marcus and I are so hooked on this YouTube show right now called Hot Ones.
Oh yeah, I love Hot Ones.
Oh my gosh. It is so funny. And the funniest thing is Marcus can't handle super spicy because he gets these hiccups for days, like hiccups that come from within his diaphragm, and he can't breathe. Not like normal hiccups. But because of the show, he wants to try it so bad. And I'm like, babe, you can't. Because I tried them. I ordered all these hot sauces.
Really? Wow.
And I tried them. I'm like, yeah, it's so funny. And here at the ranch we call it Camp Corona, I have everybody trying them. We're doing our own version of Hot Ones here. But that show, if you just need a good laugh, some of the shows are super inappropriate, but for the most part, they're really, really, really funny. So I highly recommend just for senseless.
Yeah, just wasting time. Great laughter.
It's a really good show. Yeah, just to get things, get Corona off your mind, isolation off your mind. It's a really good laugh.
Did you get to try the Last Dab sauce? How hot is it?
I actually don't think the Last Dab is super hot. I think the worst one is what's it called? Da Bomb.
Oh, Da Bomb.
I think it's like their 6th or 7th hot sauce. Yeah. So that one's the most disgusting. And it's just a very unfriendly hot. But no, that's a great show, great concept of interview style, and I love it. And Marcus loves it.
Awesome. Tina, thanks so much for asking your question. If you guys want to ask your questions so that we can answer them on the show, you can join us at Patreon. You're going to get exclusive access to behind the scenes content, access to the Patreon community where we get some cool swag for you guys. And you get to get rare access to Marcus Morgan and all of our incredible guests. You can join us at patreon.com/Team Never Quit. All right, let's get to these Gold Star wives. We are joined by a group of ladies who are super special to us. And we're doing this live from the Lazy J Ranch. And today's special host, Melanie Luttrell. You guys are familiar with her. Melanie, I'll let you take it away.
Hi. Okay, so we had a girls' weekend,
And I wanted to bring on some of our friends that all have never quit stories and live the never quit mentality, and thought that it would be beneficial for everybody to hear from them. So if you just want to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Patsy. And my husband was part of Operation Red Wing with Marcus Luttrell.
And we've got Cindy.
Hi, Cindy Axelson, surviving spouse of Matthew Axelson, also with Marcus on Operation Red Wings.
Hi, I'm Jen, and I'm a surviving spouse.
I'm Donna. I'm also a surviving spouse.
So we have a couple of other ladies. Not everybody has microphones, and we'll just pitch in here and there in this conversation. Patsy, do you want to talk about what you're doing now to keep Danny's memory alive, and how you, what you do with the foundation?
Yeah. So when I guess I was 23 when everything happened, so I was pretty young and, getting ready to start life. I just got out of the Navy, so I was starting that part of my life, and Danny had just deployed, and then, tragedy happened. And so I was kind of lost at that age, and shock that something so suddenly was taken away from me. And I think that I would say my team, like my never quit moment was then when I realized that, he didn't have a chance to, he was 20, just turning 25, so he didn't have a chance to live and prolong his life. So it was my role to take now that and not quit for him, because he didn't quit for us. And so I went to college, finished that, and then I decided the best way to keep his memory going was to start a foundation, which is the Navy SEAL Danny Dietz Foundation, and focus on not only the Tier 1 guys that he so loved, but also the first responders. And I was inspired by what happened in 9/11 and how we not only have our military protecting us overseas, but we also have our heroes themselves helping us and making sure we're safe here in our country. So that was the focus of keeping Danny's legacy going, focusing on the first responders and the Tier 1 and also the surviving spouses. Me being one, it was important to make sure that my best friends are all surviving spouses. Like I said, I was 23, so I was alone suddenly, and a lot of the women surrounded me in the SEAL community. And sadly, because it's such a small community, slowly a lot of those women who had husbands would go out to war and fight the war that Danny left behind, and they also started losing their husbands. And so it kind of, in a weird way, that loss bonded a lot of these women to where they've become my best friends, for a lot of them for over 20 years. And we're still going strong. And it's incredible when you put such powerful people that have gone through such loss, how strong they are and how they can make changes and better the world, in their own little way. You don't have to do nothing crazy. It's just just standing in a room with these women. It's incredible. It really is. And so I learned from them, they learn from me, and we just power through and honor our men. And I think the main focus is we love our country and what they fought for. So
For sure. But I think the best part of this sisterhood that y'all have formed is all the funny times. And I mean, it's like a sorority that should have never happened, but it has happened. Mm-hmm. And you make it light and you make it, fun. And it's not, when y'all are all together, it's not just about sadness and reflection. It's like moving forward and how you can make a difference and how you can change the world. And all of you are tangibly changing the world.
Ironically, some of the funny stories usually happen in our lowest moments, because, it's not funny at the time, but then when you reflect some of the stuff that happens, because it's raw, it's raw emotions, and you put yourself in such vulnerable situations that mm-hmm. it's unimaginable for a regular person to think about. And so, it's, you can't really relate to what happened, And so a lot of funny stories come out of that, ironically. And it's just great because we can relate, you and me were talking in the ATV or Gator, and we were talking about like how, there's something about being with men like this that we can relate to each other because we go through so much that most people can comprehend what we go through behind the doors, so when you lose a husband and a loved one, that's what bonds us because we get it and what we're going through and all the stages of grieving. But like you said, it's not always sadness. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and it takes time, but with a good support group and just realizing and looking ahead and putting all that sadness into something positive, you can conquer the world, really. And like I said, my drive and my never quit moment was realizing that now I was alone and I had two choices, either to give up and just stay in my room or get up and live for him.
Yeah.
And I chose to live for him. So
yeah. And he would be so proud of you for what you're doing. And now you've got, beautiful kids and such a, you're living the life that was intended for you. And it's awesome. And we can cut this part out if you want to. I'm just saying that just in case. But we know Patsy from a previous episode. If you listen to the DJ episode that does the tribe skates, that is Patsy's husband. He is carrying that torch, and he's so funny, and everything that we heard about Patsy on that episode was just, oh my gosh, it was hilarious.
I'm glad everybody enjoyed that podcast. I'm very proud of that podcast, especially at the end.
It's so funny. Do you have any funny stories you want to tell about Patsy?
Me? Oh. I have plenty. So Danny and my husband were good friends, and I actually knew Danny before Patsy, and Danny would tell us how awesome Patsy was. And he's like, you've got to meet my girlfriend. She's so amazing. You guys are going to be best friends. And so he decided to take us to MacArthur Mall in Virginia Beach and introduce us. We met outside of a J. Crew store, which I'm pretty sure I was shopping at. And up comes this girl with little Timberland boots, black eyeliner as lip liner, and a crop shirt. And apple bottom jeans. And
I was going through a phase, everyone. I do not dress like that right now.
And she's Spanish from Miami. And so this is who I meet. And I am from Montana. So they're like, you guys are going to be best friends. And she looked at me and gave me this like, oh, I don't know who you are, but we are not going to click. Then about a week later, she rolled up in her little Nissan Sentra with the little hubcaps from Walmart, the little shiny hubcaps. And at the New Year's party, she refused to come in because there was like drunk people, and I
did not drink. I was a good girl.
She was a very good girl. Just dressed like a wild person from crazy person from Miami. And so I went out there and I put some beads on her neck, and I was like, you have to come in. We need to be best friends. And
clearly she was drunk.
Apparently I had a little bit too much to drink. And she came in, and ever since we've been
best friends. It's been over 20 years that we've been best friends. And my style has changed and evolved. And I'm more of her style. So we click now.
I actually went through that phase in the 90s. I did too.
Everybody goes through an awkward stage in the 90s.
I wore the Timberland boots and like the Hilfiger.
Oh, she had like
whatever.
The tagged jeans, like where you pin them over and you roll them up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was pretty amazing. But it was so funny that our boys were right, that you guys that we'd be best friends.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
Anybody else Cindy, do you want to tell your story?
Let's see.
Or what you're doing now?
Yeah. So I'd say since 2005, I had a tough time, we all do, trying to figure out what we're going to do next. You're just trying to figure everything out. You're young, and what you thought your life was going to be like is no longer. So, I tried all these different schools. I said, okay, I sat down, everyone's like, hey, well, what if you have this opportunity now to like take some time and figure out like who you are and what you want to do. And, trying to look at the positive of this, and I don't know. And so, different schools, different jobs. And I don't think it was till about 10 years later, I was working, I got big into CrossFit. That kind of started at that time, around 2005. And so I was a coach, and I really loved, coaching people, helping people. And but it got about 10 years later, and, I'd done other things too and gone to different schools, but always came back to coaching. But then I was at the gym, and I liked it. I was in Northern California, and life was okay. I felt like, I came out on the other side. I was happy. I could like truly say like, I'm happy. I'm okay. Like life is good. But I felt like there was more that I could do and that I wanted to do, and more people that I wanted to help. So I talked to my parents about it. I was kind of in this place, like, I don't know what to do. And they, they're like, well, is there someone you can talk to? And I'm like, well, I'm talking to you guys about it, and so I just decided that, I want to move back down to San Diego. I spent years trying to get back down there because I remember, it was such a happy place for Matt and I, and I thought, I want to go back down there, and I want to see if there's something down there that I can do. Maybe it's like reconnecting with, Naval Special Warfare. I just didn't really have any idea, but the community down there is amazing. They never forget. They will support you. And I basically I started sending out my resume to people in the community, and they, knew retired guys that were in that were now out that were like, hey, just, send it to us. And it like spread like wildfire down there. It was awesome to see. Like people would get it from two different people, and they were just like, can you guys help her out?
Today's episode of the podcast brought to you by Athletic Greens, the most comprehensive daily nutritional beverage on the planet. Let me tell you something, guys. My cabinet used to be full of vitamins and probiotics and you name it. It was loaded up. And I'm going to tell you how that changed. Athletic Greens. Seriously, you guys know just as well as I do, life can just be heavy sometimes. Sometimes you're not getting enough sleep. Sometimes you're eating the wrong foods, not getting the kind of workouts you want. Maybe you're just stupid stressed out from work. Whatever it may be, Athletic Greens can help you get those nutrients that you're probably missing out on because you're just not maintaining those effective nutritional habits you should be. And it's a simple way to add these things to your routine. Their daily all-in-one superfood powder. It's going to be a nutritional essential for you. Now, this is how I was able to get my cabinet clear of all the other products. One tasty scoop of Athletic Greens contains 75 vitamins, minerals, whole food sourced ingredients, including a multivitamin, a multimineral, a probiotic, a green superfood blend, and more that are all working together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet. It's going to increase energy and focus, aid with digestion. It's going to support a healthy immune system, all without the need of taking multiple products. And another great thing is that it is lifestyle friendly. So whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free, it contains less than 1 gram of sugar and it does not compromise on taste. And right now, Athletic Greens is doubling down on supporting your immune system. They are going to give you guys a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you guys have to do is visit our link. You'll basically never have to buy vitamin D again. So whether you're looking for peak performance or better health, covering your bases with Athletic Greens makes investing in your energy, immunity, and gut health each day super easy, tasty, and efficient. All you guys need to do is go over to athleticgreens.com/TNQ. Join health experts, athletes, health conscious go-getters all around the world. We're making that daily commitment to their health every single day. One more time, guys, visit athleticgreens.com/TNQ and get your free year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs today. You guys go check them out.
So it was actually through another Gold Star that I actually started working for a foundation, supporting veterans and Gold Star. And so I was like, okay, I think this is, what I want to be doing. And 6 months later, I got another opportunity to work actually for the SEAL Family Foundation that supports the active duty families of naval special warfare. And I thought it was just a little bit of a better fit. And so I got into the role and I was like, okay, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It was now we're looking at like 12 years later. And I felt that through my experience, through knowing all of you ladies, it was my time to give back and to try to help out, all the other girls that are, unfortunately our Gold Star community grew, and was hopefully there to offer some sort of help, some guidance, some support. And I don't think I could have done that without having all of you from the very beginning, just there and seeing everybody in their own grieving process and learning from everybody, and kind of taking all that and being able to, be in the position that I am today, and really able to help, the active duty family still, and then also our Gold Star community. So
that's it's just amazing how, it's unfortunate when one of our a friend of ours or one of the girls lose their husbands. Again, it's such a small community that you end up knowing somebody that knows somebody, or the person, personally. But when you see them, they're in such pain and you're in a different stage of your grieving process that you look at them and you just want to hug them and tell them like, you're going to be fine. I promise you. But they're not at that stage, and you just want to take all that pain and just remove it and move them where you're at now. But you just can't. And so what we do, all of us, is just, we're literally a blanket of comfort, and we're just there. And when we say we're there, we're literally there, as soon as we hear the phones pinging and we know it's somebody that we know or somebody that doesn't even matter if we don't know. We're literally right there at moment's call.
The community is so small. It's like a 1 degree of separation. If you don't know them personally, one of your friends is going to know them. And I feel like that's across the board in the community. It's always 1 degree of separation.
So even if you're not in the military, I know maybe some of your listeners are not in the military, but they've lost a loved one, and maybe they don't have the structure that we do in our military community, but I would definitely tell them that I know that they're in a really, if they just lost and it seems like life is just not going to get better, that there's no way they can continue. I promise them that with time, that pain will turn into something different. It will evolve and grow into something different. And then it slowly find a purpose, to put all that pain into something good, and that's what they have to do. Just be strong and have that never quit moment,
Right.
Pushing through.
Yeah. I mean, it can actually turn into a beautiful thing if you let nature take its course and you go through the grieving process, and it's going to be painful and you're going to feel that. But if you allow it and you embrace the people that are trying to comfort you, it can actually turn into, and I've only learned that from watching y'all, and it's really neat to see that something beautiful can happen after tragedy.
I know that a lot of times at our, get-togethers with Gold Star, some of the newer spouses will will comment on how, they'll see us laughing and telling jokes and just having a good time and smiling again. And it is encouraging for them to see that, and know that there's hope, that like we'll be able to smile again. We'll be happy again.
Yeah. So can you tell us what the Navy SEAL, what your foundation does?
The SEAL Family Foundation.
SEAL Family Foundation.
We, like I said, we support the active duty, more of the active duty side. We have 3 main pillars of support: the families, the warriors, and the Gold Star families. So we have several programs that fall under each pillar. And we're a smaller organization, but we're just there to help. I think because we are smaller, we are very nimble, and we act really quick and respond quickly. Usually within an hour to 24 hours, depending on on what's on the circumstance. So
well, and we for our listeners out there, if you've heard the episode with Tiggs and her daughter Lulu, she actually mentioned Cindy in that episode and how the SEAL Family Foundation really helped her out in a situation that isn't, from
the norm.
Yeah, it was totally out of the norm, because Lulu wasn't dead yet.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like there was a death that happened and we needed, she needed someone to come in and help right then. She was dying.
Yeah, it was a 2 year. Yeah,
through that whole process of this. No one wants to see their child sick like that. It's so horrible. But y'all were there to help with little things and big things at the same time, that they could focus on her and their other kid.
Yeah, and Amy being Amy, even when I first met her, she, I actually met her at one of our events. She was actually a volunteer, and, she was there because she knew how much, we were supporting her. Cause I came in after, the program director before me is the one who first started working with Amy and her family. And then I came in. And so the first time I met Amy was at a fundraising event, one of ours, that she was there volunteering. And then it came, around 10 o'clock came at night, and she's like, hey, is it okay if I go? Cause I have to go relieve somebody else at the hospital, and so she was doing the night shift. But like Amy always made sure that like she knew the support she was getting, and she just didn't sit back and let everyone do everything, just Amy being Amy, the amazing person she is. And she was like, I'm going to be there. I'm going to let people know, that, the support that I'm getting. And it's just awesome, even though she was so busy and dealing with her own stuff, she was able to see like the big picture and well, and it was probably therapeutic for her to be around other people and feeling like she's helping others when she was receiving so much help at that time. Yeah. That's awesome.
And I think, Melanie, as we start to grow in our new life, like Patsy said, we're finding purpose in our pain. And for me personally, to give back to our community and to give back to the community at large, I was getting so much by giving. Being able to be there for other people in need was actually helping me heal. And so, volunteering for Patsy's Foundation, coming together every year here in Houston and just seeing the patriotism that this city has was so healing. And in turn, I was giving and receiving. And then as the years progressed and I felt like I was growing stronger, I was able to give back in other aspects, by different foundations and helping other widows in their grief journey. And Patsy and I knew each other before the tragedy. And I remember it, getting the news and hearing that not only Patsy, but so many of my girlfriends were going to hear the worst news of their life, and knowing that there were so many people that I needed to go love and support because they meant so much to me, and I wanted them to know that we were going to be there. And then 3 years later, to it happening to me, and, Patsy helping me pick out coffins. Life doesn't prepare you for those things. And, 3 years later, to your girlfriends that were there supporting you, then it happens to them. And I mean, you've barely gotten your backbone back intact. And now you're going to their houses to help them pick out coffins and making sure that we're doing everything to honor these men and women that gave up their tomorrows so that we can have our todays. And I think in this country, we have so many patriots. And it's so heartwarming because sometimes I don't feel like our media shows the true spirit of this country. And when tragedy hits and these men gave everything, you get to see what it means to be an American. And you wake up every day, and no matter how much it hurts and how difficult it is, you come together and you honor these men and women by putting one foot in front of the other and being there for one another. Because that is the true spirit of these men, these women that gave everything in our country. And it gives me great pride to wake up every morning surrounded by these incredible women that have now become my family. And we stand tall in their memory. And we're not only there for one another, but we're there for the rest of this country, just like they were there for us. And I'm so proud that you had us here today to share that. And we just love you so much, Melanie.
Let's take a second to thank our sponsors over at Mack Weldon. Guys, kick your summer off in style with a brand that's reinventing men's basics, Mack Weldon. They are so much more than just underwear. Their full collection includes t-shirts, polos, button-ups, shorts, pants, swims, and so much more. And with light and breathable fabric technology, Mack Weldon is going to keep you cool and comfortable all summer. From work to working out, happy hour to playing with your kids, Mack Weldon has men's essentials for whatever your day includes. For me, it's making sure I look really nice and stay cool in this Texas summer heat while I'm just out doing work, yard work, all of the work. And then the kids next door, my nephew and niece, they tend to sucker me into coming out and doing the slip and slide with them. And that's really where Mack Weldon Swimwear is just awesome. Dive into Mack Weldon Swimline with trunk and board short options that are quick to dry. They have 4-way stretch fabric. And when you're not in the pool, Mack Weldon's new Maverick Tech Chino short and Radius short are the perfect additions to your summer wardrobe. They'll keep you comfortable so you can confidently power through your most active days. You guys know I wouldn't be telling you that if it wasn't true. Texas heat, man, we gotta wear cool stuff. Mack Weldon has a free loyalty program called Weldon Blue. Level 1 gets you free shipping for life. Once you reach level 2, by spending $200, you get 20% off every order for the next year. Stay cool this summer and look great doing it with the all-new collections of men essentials from Mack Weldon. For 20% off your first order, visit mackweldon.com/TNQP. Enter our promo code TNQP. That's Mack Weldon, MackWeldon.com/TNQP, promo code TNQP for 20% off. Mack Weldon, reinventing men's basics.
Oh my gosh.
We do love you so much. I mean, you are. If anybody has had the chance to even be in the same room as you, or even sit next to you, you're a gem. You really are. Like,
oh my gosh.
It's crazy because, again, you were brought into this world, into this whole chaotic, crazy war of ours, by marrying Marcus, and so, you had no idea what you were getting into, and you put your boots up and you laced them up and you went on, and it's just awesome to see that, but then when you get to meet you, we really, truly love you. And it's crazy because
all my eyes. Oh my gosh. How did this?
we truly love you. You just have the biggest heart probably that I've ever encountered. Just
for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
It's really that's the person that we're talking about. The heartwarming, our husbands didn't die in vain because there's people like you that care about us. There's people like you that care about our military. There's people like you that care about our country. And so we know there's a lot of people like you out there. And like she said, it's unfortunate where we at now in life with the media, with the negativism, everything. It's very frustrating for us when we see, we were talking about the State of Union, not to get into political stuff, but when you sit there and you're watching people getting honored, that soldier coming back and that feeling that she's feeling, and those kids are probably feeling, that they haven't seen their dad and you're there with them. And then you see how disrespectful some people are about that and not caring. It's because they're so detached from reality, this is our reality, there is wars, even though if it's not on TV, there is bad people out there trying to hurt us every single day. And guess who go out there to make sure that they don't come here?
Yeah.
Our guys, our women, they're out there. And so it's just heartwarming to find people like you, and we don't take you ever for granted. We love you. We truly do, because you are amazing. You really are. And we spread the word in our community all the time. We're talking about Melanie this and, because, a lot of people don't get to meet you. They hear about you, but they don't know who you are. And so we make sure that everybody knows who Melanie Luttrell is.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we told Marcus.
Best thing that happened to Marcus.
You did tell Marcus. I'm we've never heard anything bad about you, but we're pretty much her bodyguards. If somebody ever said anything negative about her, we correct them right there in the spot.
Oh my gosh.
We don't play around. We're
that has happened before.
So
we don't have to get into that, but that has happened once, and I did feel loved by all of y'all. And I always say, I'm not part of the sisterhood because I wasn't married to Marcus when he was in. But I have felt so welcome, and I feel part of I'm looking into a glass bowl of the sisterhood, and that just being that close makes me extremely proud, and I do feel loved, and ever since I met all of y'all, I've felt super loved, and I love when y'all come for Memorial Day. Even though I'm just lucky that I live here and I get to see y'all for the Danny Dietz Memorial Roping every year. It's been going on since...
Oh, my God.
It was a very long time. Yeah.
12 years?
We used to put the auction sheets
I think it was
down with
2009 or 2010 when it started. it's been a long time. It's been 11 years or 12 years. Yeah, it's been a long time.
And so I met Marcus in 2010, and y'all were doing the roping in College Station.
That was the first year.
And it was the Lone Survivor Foundation Gala, the very first one, was that same weekend. And so we didn't end up making it up there, but we made it to the next one. And I remember, when I first met him, I had no idea who everybody was, and it was all very overwhelming. And I remember him saying we need to get up to College Station, but there was people in town that needed, to do stuff with him. And I'm like, how are we going to do all these different things? And as life unraveled over the next few years, we managed to do a lot of different things. And they're all important because it represents the community, doing the roping every year, doing the galas, doing all that kind of stuff. It does get tiring, but
it's important to have that web, that community, and show that, you know, no matter how many years go by, we're always still supporting that. I don't think we might have missed 1 year since then.
I don't know. Cause I mean, you guys have been coming every year.
Yeah.
So, and we've been loving it.
And we have
really
definitely have had some good times and bad. I mean, Marcus has gone through lots of different phases he's gone through this process since I've met him that, and that was 5 years afterwards, but he's gone through a healing process, you know, through this. So, it's been something, you know, just to see how everyone has healed and grown grown together through all of this. And I love y'all.
Oh, and we love you too, Melanie.
Yeah, we always tell Marcus, you know, a lot of people want to hang out with him or meet him or whatnot. And we're like, no. You know, he
Have you met
came by
Melanie?
and gave us water yesterday. And we're like, yeah, we're just excited to be here to see Melanie and hang out with her.
If you could just cook us dinner, that would be great.
Yeah.
If you could get behind the grill and just cook us some dinner, that's what we care about.
Just keep that bacon coming that we all love.
And
We just want to hang out with Melanie.
he loves cooking for y'all. He wants to be in the back, you know, in the shadows and just
And we love it.
serve
Yeah,
y'all.
which is
We love
awesome.
We're
it.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're loving this.
We're also a lot to take in because we usually all talk at the same time.
I know we're
Or
doing a pretty
laughing
good.
or cussing. We've done very well at the cussing, so
We're
Yeah.
doing a pretty good job right now.
Yeah.
still early in the day.
Is there anything anybody else wants to share? So what would you say to somebody like for Never Quit Inspiration? If you could say something.
Something that comes to mind for me is gratitude. Like every day, just finding gratitude in the day, something about, you know, in your day. I try to, you know, do it in the morning or at night, just whenever I can remember. So even if you are having the hardest day or going through a tough time, just trying to find one thing that's good, you know, that you can find positive in that day, and, you know, hope that it helps.
Well, and that said, like, I remember when I was going through a hard time, someone told me 60 seconds of unhappiness is a minute of happiness taken out of your life a day, you know? And so that was always something I just always remembered.
I try, like, when I'm having a rough day, again, with anything in life, I always remember that somewhere in the world, there's somebody that has it worse than me, you know? So I don't have a right to complain or quit or anything because I know there's somebody in a worse situation than I am, you know, when imaginable situations that are going on around the world. So I try to think about that and be like, okay, you know, it could be worse, and try to inspire my day to do better, you know, so I'm pushed through.
For me, when I'm getting to like that negative in my head, I just always remember to just breathe in positivity and exhale the negativity, and just don't let it come in. Just really, truly try to keep it out, because if you let it in, it can take over. And so I just always try to just breathe in the positivity and just let out the negativity.
I think what Cindy said, I found this gratitude journal on Amazon, and it has like 3 lines for each day to write down 3 things. And it's the whole thing of writing it down versus just like thinking it in your head. Because are you really going to remember that at the end of the day? It's like $6 on Amazon.
We actually made our own, and we do it at dinner each night. Everyone sit down.
And we talk about our rose and our thorn of the day, but it's most like a rose.
It's hard to really sit and feel sorry for yourself when you're taking the time to write down things that you're grateful for. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's just starting small, right? It's like, I got out of bed today and went to the gym, or I, whatever, showed up to work on time. Yes.
You woke up today and you got this day, and you don't want to waste it.
I think for me, just being grounded in my faith in God, my faith in my family and friends, and myself, and just staying true to that regardless of what life brings.
right, guys, let's take a second to thank our friends over at Kalo. They are the makers of the original silicone ring, and they have mastered comfort, functionality, and style, and they are designed to be worn during all of your everyday activities. The Kalo ring is the perfect alternative and upgrade, might I say, for those who live an active lifestyle. If you've been wearing your metal ring, if you've been wearing your diamond band, whatever it may be, and you don't want it to get damaged, you don't want it to get lost, then Kalo is the way to go. You've probably seen their rings in stores before. They are silicone rings that are comfortable. They're just easy to wear. They're lightweight. I actually have been a fan of these guys for a while because I used to be a firefighter, and it's really important that when you're a first responder, really anybody who works a job where you are potentially risking just getting your fingers trapped, it is probably best to have something that comes off easier. That's really cool about Kalo is that their rings are designed to keep you safe from ring avulsion by breaking after exceeding a certain amount of pressure. And these are useful for firefighters, police service members, mechanics, athletes, outdoor enthusiasts, military personnel. It's a great way to continue to show your commitment to your spouse and family during all of your everyday activities. When you don't want to get your other one damaged or lost, you can customize your Kalo ring with a meaningful phrase or date on their website. It's really cool. Another cool thing is on their website, they've got actually a lot of lines. My favorite is their Heroes line. They've got a police thin blue line. They've got a firefighters thin red line. They've got the nurses red line. I mean, they've even got one for all the branches of the military. I mean, you can find something that fits your style. So if you're looking to just wear a safer alternative, then you guys should check out Kalo. You guys can head over to kalo.com/TNQ. You're going to get 20% off your first purchase today. That's QALO.com/TNQ. You're going to get 20% off discount, which will automatically be applied at checkout. Head on over QALO.com/TNQ.
That's good. I have to have that too. I have to balance is always my word. Like balance with my faith and my, trying to remain positive, and balance is kind of my key word of my prayers every morning. Just please, Lord, give me balance and peace. That's good. Okay, so last weekend, Marcus and I totally stepped outside of our comfort zone, and we went to a marriage retreat. And I never thought we would do that, but we had a guy on our podcast, Victor Marks, and we really connected with him just by interviewing him. We had never met him before, and we stayed in touch after the podcast, and him and his wife were hosting this marriage retreat in East Texas, and we're like, let's go, and we went. It was really interesting. I never thought in my lifetime I would go to something like that, but it was neat. But part of it, they separated us. Like they separated men in one room and women in another. And one of the things and his wife was leading the women part, and his wife asked the room, which was just all women, do you know what your value is? And I thought that was such an interesting question. And I happened to be the only one that raised my hand. And at first I'm like, oh shit, did I not hear her wrong?
Yeah.
When you get that feeling that you did something wrong, or you
Because nobody else is doing it.
Yeah,
You're
like I answered the wrong question.
Like,
I'm like, oh, did I just say something embarrassing? I'm like, wait, I'm pretty sure she asked, do you know what your value is? And I mean, to me, like knowing your value is kind of just knowing who you are. And I afterwards, like she continued to talk or whatever, and she came back and she said, you were the only one that raised your hand about knowing your value. How do you know your value? And I was like, well, I've always known my value. I don't always live up to my value. I mean, I make mistakes every day, but I know who I am and I know my worth. And I love myself, and I know that God loves me. I have a very good connection with my faith. And she said, well, a lot of people need to hear it. Do you hear it every day? And I said, well, I do, but I knew my value before I heard it every day. Like, I don't need someone to tell me what I'm worth. it comes from inside. And I wanted to ask y'all, like, if someone asked you, do you know your value? What would you say to that? Because I would say
absolutely.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I also think when the guys were alive, they appreciated our value because we held down the fort while they were off doing their thing. And they could be away knowing everything was running smoothly. And if it wasn't, we were going to figure it out. And, we're the girls out there mowing the lawn, taking out the trash, where maybe some people that don't have someone deployed have never done those things. So it kind of gives you this sense of, I don't know, an empowerment, and that you can still run your household, and we're doing it still despite our losses, and carrying on because that's what they would expect of us. So it's like, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I went and fixed this, and yeah, I can show you how to do it. I can wash the house. I even put my initials in the cement.
That's awesome. Yeah, that was just an interesting thing. That was out of the whole weekend. That's what I took away. I was so bothered. Like, how do all these women not know?
It's kind of sad.
Their value. It was very sad. I walked away sad from that, thinking, gosh, how do you?
But I think it's also who you surround yourself with too.
And I attribute mine to my foundation of my parents, just growing up in a really strong, loving family. Household. And, my parents just, loving and supporting us. And you just kind of, I actually know a lot of people who didn't grow up that way. And so they do have a lot of like insecurities and issues that they don't have that self-confidence or that self-worth, where they wouldn't raise their hand. So,
so how do we help women like that?
Next to you, like a good husband.
And tell them to find good friends. I mean, surround yourself with like people that are going to lift you up, not bring you down.
And like-minded.
This episode of the podcast brought by Codecademy. If you guys are questioning your job choice, your career choice, especially post-pandemic, now that you've spent some time at home and have really thought about life, learning to code might be the easiest way to change your career, especially when you learn with Codecademy. Simply put, Codecademy is the best way to learn to code online. They not only teach you job-ready coding skills, but also help you build unique projects for your portfolio. You can earn certificates and even prep for technical interviews. Codecademy is really cool. There's a lot of courses in there. I've actually owned a web development company now for going on 10 years. And so there's some things in there I feel like I'm going to go and brush up on my CSS, my JavaScript, all those things. But what I've really been inspired by it is just how easy it is to learn in that. And my little nephew, he's 13 now, I believe. I'm going to get in trouble from him later if I have the age wrong, but whatever. I think he's 13 now. He's always kind of taken an interest in technology. Tearing stuff down, building things. And he's been telling me a lot over the last few years that he was wanting to learn how to code. And whenever Codecademy reached out, I thought this is the perfect way for him to be able to get started. And so he's actually been in there, taking some classes. So it is a great way, whether you're an adult, a kid, you can learn at your own pace. No matter your experience level, you'll be writing real working code in minutes. You can choose what to learn, whether that's building websites to analyzing data and everything else you could want. You can learn coding languages, including Python, HTML, CSS, SQL, JavaScript, and more. And if you're not sure where to begin, Codecademy will point you in the right direction. The great thing about their platform is you get instant feedback. Your code is tested as soon as you submit it, so you always know if you're on the right track. Their platform is interactive, which means you're going to be able to learn by doing. You're going to build that portfolio up. You're going to get a certificate of completion to make yourself more marketable to future employers. Test your knowledge with tailor-made quizzes just for you. This platform is just amazing. So if you're thinking about switching it up or you're wanting to learn something new, be a part of Codecademy's community of over 50 million people. Land your dream job in web development, programming, computer science, data science, and tons more. And join the millions of people learning to code with Codecademy to see where coding can take you. You're going to get 15% off your Codecademy Pro membership when you go to Codecademy.com and use our promo code TNQ. That's promo code TNQ at Codecademy.com to get that 15% off Codecademy Pro. The best way to learn to code. Codecademy.com, promo code TNQ. Go check them out, guys.
words are powerful. Your thoughts and your words are extremely powerful. And when you learn to navigate your thoughts and your words and use those to your better good, your life will turn because we're all going to face tragedy in this lifetime. We're all going to face pain. And how we deal with that will either define us as humans or it's going to redefine us as humans. And that choice is going to be made by many aspects. And most importantly, how you navigate it.
Yeah.
You know, what's in your heart, what's in your mind. If you wake up every day and say, I can't, you won't.
Right.
And if you wake up every day and say, I can, you will. And having a good support system is crucial. Surround yourself, like the lady said, with people that are like-minded. You know, if you want your life to change, what are you going to do today to make that change? Because from minute to minute, you have the ability to change your world.
Yeah.
And we get to be the authors of our story. No one else can do that for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed the marriage retreat. It was really cool. Marcus and I walked away actually feeling good. And I think Victor and his wife, the couple that ran it, are super inspirational. They're like goals. I mean, they've been married for 31 years. They've had lots of ups and downs and everything, but their center is their faith, and through that is their love. And it's really cool to see. But anyway, moving on from that, there was one other thing I wanted to ask y'all. When we interview a lot of teen guys, one of the questions I am always asking them, even if it's not on the podcast, whatever, if I'm just sitting down with somebody, the question is, what makes a team guy? Like, what in his mind, what makes, why did you want to join, or why did, what is that? But no one ever asks the wives, like, what makes you a team wife? What makes you strong? How would you answer that?
I think like my situation, it was pre 9/11. So there was like not that choice of getting out of like, oh yeah, I don't think I could date someone that does this. It was like, we were already in it. So it was like, no, step up and be supportive. So,
and one of the things like, I have been approached, but they asked me, I think it's just being with somebody that has, like we were talking, the same values and the same love for our country. Like I didn't marry Danny and I didn't marry DJ because they were team guys. I married them for the man they are. That's what attracted me to them. Their passion, their love for their country, their commitment, their persistent, their personality. They are very unique individuals and they have similar characteristics, but I feel like again, I didn't marry the uniform. I married who they were. So I think a lot of those characteristics that they have attract some of the women because, and I wouldn't say what makes a team wife, but what makes a woman get attracted to somebody like that. It's because the strong, like their personality, their love, again, for the country and everything. If you have those similar values, like it's a match, You also need to be strong, So a lot of these women, most of them are very strong. Like they're gone a lot. They're
you're in a unique situation because you're a dad.
Yeah, he too. But I see my dad came into my life though. He's my stepdad, but he came into my life when I was already 17.
Oh,
so,
you were older.
Okay.
Okay.
I was a little older. So I didn't really know a lot about, even though he was I didn't know about that life,
Yeah.
I was already an adult. I didn't grow up with it. But my point is like, when you look around this room, you see very, and it's not just saying it, you see very strong women because they had to stay back. They had to take care of the household. You don't have time to sit down and cry. You don't have time to be upset because the car is not working or, you're struggling with 3-4 kids or whatever the case may be because your husband's out fighting and protecting this country. So you have to be home and somebody needs to take care of everything. So you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
So you have to be strong. You have to be very confident. You have to, be loving. You have to be everything. So a lot of that's what when you look at us, and I'm sure you see it as a wife, that you look at us and you're like, I can see the similarities of our personalities, matching with each other because we have all that in common, just same like them.
I see that. Like everybody that I meet in the community, the women are just as strong as the men. And I think that's what makes a team wife, is someone that is super confident in themselves and that can hold a household down, that can take care of their kid, like someone that just, they won't break. They don't need reassurance from their man to, if they're, does my butt look big? Or does my, they don't need someone to tell them who they are. They know it. And they know, it's like that question, going back to the question of, do you know your value? It's almost like every wife that I have met, they do know their value. And that's what makes, a woman part of this community, is just a confident, strong, beautiful, inside and out woman. And it proves it with y'all in here.
And I think the strength comes even not just being married, but just when they retire, your role still continues. Well, and sometimes it's
a different chapter.
Even harder. It's an even harder role, So you're in it even after 20 years.
I mean, they're trying to still find themselves.
And like, again, these guys are in, some of them 17, 18, and they're doing this their entire life. And it's a hard life, and they're broken. And they age. I mean, it's just insane what this job does. They love it. We support them. But when they come out, they're completely changed. And so we're going through it with them. And then they get out, and then our job continues in a different role.
Like it starts over.
It's a different role.
Yeah.
You have a different role now. Like, you have to be the healer. You have to be there. You have to be their pickup when they're down. I mean, it's I think harder.
I do too, because I think
when it's in, the teams and the guys take care of them, right?
Well, there's
you're not around them that much because they're always gone.
Well, I feel like that's part of the reason that they are broken. Is because they
help each other and they egg each other, right?
Yeah.
And I always used to tell them, like, you have one body. That's all you have. You have one shell. You got to baby it. You got to, if something breaks, you got to fix it. And that just doesn't happen, because if you stay behind and you fix it, then you miss the next deployment and then you're not doing your role. It's just that personality they have. So then, like I said, I mean, the aftermath it's even a different role. And I think for a lot of us, a harder role. But we go through it, and I wouldn't change it. And none and anything. I wouldn't change anything about it, But
it is hard. And that's the one thing that, like, that's the life I know is,
I know
the life after active duty. And it is very hard. I didn't deal with deployments. I didn't deal with that. I didn't deal with the first chapter, but I am dealing with the healing part.
And that sometimes can be harder because they're trying to find their new identity because they don't have someone there to tell them what they're going to be doing next. And, and
they're not doing what they love anymore.
Exactly. And so now they're trying to figure out, well, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? And
they're so capable.
They're trying to figure out who they are now, the new them. But on top of that, with all their health issues.
Exactly. And it's hard for them to.
So it's just hard. Like I said, I think when they're in, they have a structure and they're literally on the go. And now it's like when things slow down.
When they're told what to do. And now they don't have like an actual role or a position in life.
I mean, I try
to
tell
now they
them
need to figure it out.
He ain't listening. He ain't listening to me. I mean, I tell him.
There's a list.
Here's your daily list.
thing.
Like now, you're excited. You're like, oh yes, this is great. Now
he's gonna be like Mr. Handyman.
Take the trash out, pick the dog poop. I'm all happy about it.
No.
Oh no.
It doesn't happen like that.
Nope. I'll put the to-do list. I'm like, this is what I need fixed.
And now you're scratching off the chores. You're like, oh, I just picked up the poop.
I have to hire somebody. I'm like, hey, Mark, can you come and fix this? Because he'll be like, yeah, I got it. I'll get it fixed. And it'll literally stay there for like a month. I'm like, all right, It's time to call Mark. Like, Mark, can you come over?
I might need Mark's number.
Yes.
Who is Mark?
Mark is my handyman.
Oh, we need Mark.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You need to share Mark's number.
Well, and it's their bodies, like if you look at them, they look super fit, but they're so broken inside, like physically. Yeah, like DJ looks like a beast, but he's been electrocuted. He's had a broken shoulder. He's had all these different surgeries. He's been blown up. I mean, he has a lot of so many different injuries.
Yeah. And you would never tell, though. You would never tell. You look at him and he looks like literally what you would think like a superhero. Like they drew him in a piece of paper.
America.
He's like
DJ's head's getting bigger.
But like he's fit. He's still, but he wasn't like that. I mean, you guys heard it in the podcast. Like he went through a really, really dark time while he was towards the end, just with all the pain and masking it and not accepting the fact that it was time for him to retire, and that was and he lost so much weight. I mean, he was in a time that was really, really dark, and I was starting to get worried. But he, thankfully, there was a lot of things in place. He got well, and then he just got focused on going to the gym. And so he wakes up at 4, and this is a true story. Every day, I'm like, can we not wake up and put the alarm at 4? Please let me sleep in a little bit. Because once I'm awake. But every morning, he's very structured. And I think it's that whole military, like he still wants to feel like he has a routine.
And so he has to go someplace.
My friend over here, her husband does the same thing. I mean, at 4 a.m., he wakes up, he goes have his coffee.
Same here.
He goes have his little coffee. He sits down, checks his Instagram. Then he puts his little tank top and he goes to the gym. He does his workout. He does love a tank top. Yeah, he does. He goes to do his workout. He comes home, takes a shower. I mean, it's a routine for him. And I'm fine with that. But it took a while for him to get back to where you saw him. He looks great, and that's why I don't encourage it, like waking up at 4, because I know that he was in a really dark place. So if the worst is waking up at 4 a.m., then it is, But
I feel like the guys thrive on routine and, like what you said, just being told what to do. That was one of the things in our marriage, just a learning curve. I used to be like, well, what do you want to do? And that was one of the worst questions I could ask, because he just wants to be told what to do. He doesn't care what we do. He doesn't care what we're having for dinner. He just wants me to tell him what it is or what to cook, or if I have instruction, I just need to give it to him. We've been married for almost 10 years. So it's taken a long time, but I finally am like, okay, this is what we're doing. I'm just going to be bossy. Let me be bossy.
Maybe that's what we all have in common.
Maybe that's
definitely all very bossy. Type A bossy.
I just say assertive.
Yeah.
Assertive.
Direct. I'm very direct.
They're very resilient. They're always having to be reactive. For a very long period of their life, they were taught to be reactive and to, put on the back burners the emotion and go out there and do the job that this country needed. And that was protecting our well-being and protecting the well-being of those who can't protect themselves. And our job in turn was to protect them.
Yeah.
To make sure that we're being resilient and that we're being able to be proactive, because at the end of the day, there's 1% protecting the other 99 in this country. Okay, so we at the home front have also a very important role. And military spouses, they're not at the forefront. Neither are our warriors, for that. To be quite frank, they don't do it for money. They don't do it for fame. They don't do it for accolades. They go out there and they do it for a greater cause. They're fighting evil, and we have a cause and something that we believe in, and that's our men and our families in this country. So we have to learn to be extremely resilient, and we have to learn to be able to be reactive. For most of us, we came into this before the war, so our lives were very different. And then the war broke out, and the war is still going on. And even though most of this country is not affected by it, the 1% is very much affected by it.
Well, and you have, our past president getting up saying, oh, the war's over, everybody's going home. And you see it on the news. If your family's not in the military, then you think everything's over. You think it's all done, but we still have friends
deploying, or husbands, or, whatever. Like when we did a big care package drive over Christmas, people were asking, wait, are people still deploying? I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes, there are still people deploying. I mean, even if there's not a war, people are still deploying. But yes, there is still an active war.
People are still dying.
Yeah, people are still dying for our country. So yes, this is still happening. Just because you saw, someone say it on the news, and then now you see all the women in the State of the Union wearing white, sitting over there taking selfies and mocking, what our husbands did or do currently. And it's definitely hurtful. And I feel like if women like y'all that are in here could be in front of those women and just say, look, if you're all about women empowerment, let's talk, sister, because this is not how it's supposed to go. It
doesn't matter if they don't agree with the president. He's our president.
Yeah.
Respect him. And that was not the time or place to do that stuff. If you want to make a point and show the disrespect, that was
do it
not
on your
the
own
place.
time.
Right.
That was the wrong time to do that, because that was a very powerful message. Regardless if you don't like him or not, that was a very powerful message, and it had a lot of military. I mean, it was a very, very inspiring, and he was honoring a lot of amazing people. So for them to kind of do that, I mean, to us, it was a slap in our face,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't agree with our last president, but I didn't get on, social media and be like, hey, this, cut his head off, and, the stuff that they do now to
and make fun of the supporters of the president.
Right.
That's what irritates me. Like, just because I support him doesn't mean I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm
uneducated Walmart
whatever.
redneck.
Like, you don't know me.
Yeah. And what's wrong with being a redneck? I mean,
Nothing wrong with being a redneck. Yeehaw.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all Americans.
I'm just saying.
We're all Americans.
Yes.
Right.
Like, we need to get back to that. We're all Americans, regardless. We can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, we're all Americans. And I think what's disheartening, when you buried your loved one in the name of freedom, in the name of everything that this country stands for, and you see that our own politicians can't sit in a room together and do what's best for the greater good when our soldiers are going out there and dying for us. As a military spouse, that's extremely disheartening. Yeah. I mean, we couldn't run our families the way that this country is run, because
they're so detached from what real America is like and what the real American person is. I mean, they don't live the way that we live. They live in these nice houses and have millions of dollars. We don't have the things that they have.
They have the wall around their house.
Yes.
And they don't need it on our borders. They don't need it anywhere else because they're protected in their home. And that's all that matters to them.
People only react when they're directly affected.
Yes, I agree. All right. Well, thank y'all so much for doing this. We're going to get back to go and have fun.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
We're out.
What's up, everybody? Time for a listener story. If you guys have never listened to the show before, you might not know what this segment is. Every single week, we share a write-in listener story from you guys, our audience. If you never knew about this and you want to share your story, or maybe you've thought about sharing your story, but you've maybe just not had the courage or maybe the time or whatever, these stories are super impactful, not just to us, but to the whole community, this team that we've created. And it's important that we share our stories to inspire others to never quit. So head over to teamneverquit.com/podcast. Share your story at the top in the navigation. That's where you can read stories, share stories, get inspired, create a community there. We love it when you guys do it. So today's story comes from Scott, and Scott's story is titled My Lies. Let's jump in. This is harder to write than I realized. Last month, one of my best friends passed away. He was 27 and left 2 little girls, a wife, and missed meeting his son's birth by 2 days. That was very hard on everyone because he was deeply loved. I temporarily took over running his company until his wife was ready to step into his shoes after only 3 weeks. She never quits. Then a few days ago, my girlfriend of 4 years left me. I lied to her, and it was my fault. I have lied before to her in the past and always was caught. I lied because I was terrified of telling her the truth and hurting her when all I did was hurt her more. The woman I love, I hurt. I tried to say sorry, but I just started to lie. My father and brother have always been the best men I know. I opened up after it and talked to them and was completely honest with them. I don't know where this started when I decided to lie and not be honest. I'm a Marine and have always been very proud of that each night before bed in boot camp, we would scream out honor, courage, commitment. I don't know when I lost that, but I've reached out to seek help and go to counseling. I have not been honorable or courageous or committed except to work, but I know I haven't been a good man the last year. But I am a good man, and with help, I'll gain my honor back, be courageous again, and commit to the things that I care about once more. I'm 33 and have been to the shittiest places you could deploy to, but my on-home scares me the most, and I can't even trust myself. I guess in closing, I'll say I've listened to every episode you guys have ever had, and I know I won't quit. I can't quit. I have to find myself again, and you guys and your guests have been very helpful. Thank you. Semper Fidelis. P.S. My brother John is a squid also, had a great career and did very well in the Navy, and turned me on to this show. Thank you, Scott. Melanie, what an incredible interview with those ladies. That was emotional.
So when we went into this, because we're here doing this retreat, and not really like a formal retreat, but just the girls getting together, time I see them, it's time where it was just us ladies hanging out and not really for any purpose other than sisterhood. And so when we decided to do the podcast, we were like, let's keep it light. Let's not cry. Let's not make it super sad. And of course, you know, like always, I bawl my eyes out.
That's exactly what happened.
And yeah, it ended up getting super emotional, but I think it was really good. And I love that this platform gives them a voice and others can hear their passion and just a little bit from them.
Yeah, and it seems like I'm sure there's a lot of women and ladies holding the house down right now with all that's going on. And so I think just like to be able to hear the voices from all these really powerful and strong women that have had to like really take on that role more than anyone has ever seen. It's just encouraging to all of our Team Never Quit listeners how important the ladies in our lives are.
Yeah, for sure. I think I've done more laundry and dishes in the last 4 weeks than I've ever done in my life.
Well, if you guys want to be the first one to know when we drop new episodes and you need to make sure you subscribe to the show, you can press the purple subscribe button on Apple Podcasts or any other major podcast player to be notified the moment we release new episodes. Follow us on social media. You can follow Team Never Quit at Team_Never Quit, Morgan Luttrell at Mojo Luttrell, Marcus Luttrell, Melanie Luttrell at Melanie Luttrell, and me at Andrew Brockenbush. Thanks for checking back. Thanks for always listening to the episode. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you guys next week.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.